This was supposed to be the Oxman CNC's first real job, but something wasn't right. Today we're again on the CNC, and one of the biggest things to do is to install the spoilboard and service it and some other bits and bobs. Last week we saw this bolt interfering with the linear bearing. Installing a countersunk bolt fixes this. Now, the machine comes with these Phoenix type of connectors, which are quite easily separatable. These are on the stepper motors as well as on the limit switches, as on every connection there is. To make sure they don't separate, you could just solder the wires to the connector or wires to each other where it's possible. I did this on all stepper motors and on the homing connection. Last week I temporarily taped these wires. Time to make it neat. The machine comes with a dust collection, a dust shoe actually, this huge thing. And I've tried it and I ran into a problem. So when I mounted the spindle, I used this distance here as it was said in the assembly manual. And if you have a look from here, it just doesn't fit. So to have this dust shoe on here, the spindle needs to come down. Man, this is not what we want. I'll deal with the dust at a later date. The eagle-eyed will see some trim pieces missing. This is because these also took away more than 2 centimeters of working area. Okay guys, it's Sunday today and I have only 1 hour left. But yesterday I made some programs for the CNC. These programs will work fine to screw the spoilboard down and have enough clearance to surface the spoilboard a few times. So let's go, I'm very excited. The first real CNC operations, it's very simple, but that's a good way to start on a new machine. So the first program will be with the 90-degree V-bit to mark all the holes on the MDF spoilboard. So the small pilot hole drill bit, 2.5 millimeters, will not wander around and break off, hopefully. Let's feel it, start sketching. I think you can work with that. So let's set the Z0 now in the machine. Enter. Enter. Here goes nothing. Now, if you've been watching carefully, here is a first sign that something is off. The bit I'm using is very sharp and should leave a very clear marking. So this works. Okay, this was more burning through the wood as really drilling. So I tried reducing the plunge rate and lowered the spindle RPMs step by step, as you can hear in the next sequence. Now this still wasn't feeling right, but I decided to go on with a 9mm bit for the countersinking of the holes nonetheless. I don't know why, but I let the whole program run through despite the massive heat buildup and the flexing of the gantry, as you can see here. Yes, beginner's mistake. I didn't check the rotation direction of the spindle, and it actually spins in the wrong direction. So it's just pushing this drill bit into the wood without actually cutting. So that's why it smokes and does everything. So what I need to do now is take this factory made cable and just swap out 2 wires. Yes, turns in the right direction. So after all that, I let the CNC re-drill all the 64 holes and do the countersinking, which now was smooth sailing. Some manual dust collection was done and the spoilboard got secured with 64 nicely spaced out and countersunk screws. After that, I could do the very first surfacing of the spoilboard. I started with cutting only 0.2 of a millimeter, which I had to adjust a few times to touch the whole surface. During this very satisfying operation, I found the machine nor the bit were under any serious load. So I felt confident to ramp up the feed rate by almost double the speed I started with. Okay guys, the Oxman has seen its first chips. It has drilled a little bit more, and it has surfaced the spoilboard. So I hope you liked it, and I see you in the next one. Bye.